Hi, thanks for joining me again, and today's 3-minute review will be looking at the controversial issue of paedophilia. Okay, so this review is quite sensitive. My core research to this point has been in the area of attitudes towards sexual offenders, and in doing this research, I've come across a lot of misconceptions. Many people use paedophilia or the label paedophile to describe child abuse or the people who commit these crimes. However, the relationship between these ideas are a little bit less clear than they may seem. Now, obviously, the media have got a lot to answer to in this regard, with their often emotional coverage of sexual crime. While nobody should minimise the suffering experienced by victims of sexual offences, we also have to respond rationally to these crimes and accurately describe what it is that we're dealing with. So in the UK, the laws describing sexual offences are set out in the Sexual Offences Act of 2003. Going through this, you won't find any mention of paedophilia, whether in relation to a specific crime or an individual committing an offence. This is for a simple reason. Paedophilia refers to a sexual interest and not a behaviour. So legally speaking, paedophilia is not a crime. Let's look at this in a little bit more depth. Forensic researcher Michael Cito describes how the targets of our sexual interests lie along an age-graded continuum. So by this he means that people are attracted to different age categories as shown in the list here. While interest in those at either end of the extreme of the list is less common than having a telephilic interest, so that is an interest in sexually mature young adults, for example, some people do have a predominant attraction to these groups. Paedophilic individuals do appear to have particular biological differences that may predispose them to their sexual interests in children. James Kanzer, who works at the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto, has reported a lot of findings in relation to this. He's reported that paedophiles are typically shorter, more left-handed, and have a lower IQ than those who are attracted to adults, for example. Obviously, none of this is enough to state that an individual is a paedophile, but it does suggest that these interests may have a biological basis. Similarly, he's found that seeing a child may activate the sex response system in the brains of paedophiles in a way that suggests a cross-wiring in the brain. With this in mind, paedophilia could be seen almost as a type of sexual orientation, with the responses needed being to manage these interests appropriately in order to prevent abuse. Now, obviously, this is quite a controversial view, but it does seem to be the way that the science is suggesting at the moment. So hopefully what's come through in this video is that paedophilia and child abuse are not the same thing. Clearly there are still big questions to answer about the most effective ways in which to help people with a sexual interest in children to best manage these interests. But condemning them for something that in all likelihood they wish they could get rid of themselves probably isn't the best response that we can have as a society. I'll put some links in the description below. There's probably a lot more that we can cover on this topic, so do keep your eyes peeled for more videos soon. If you do have any questions or comments about this, please add them in the box below. If you found this helpful, then please do subscribe to the channel below, or you can also join the conversation on Twitter at CraigHarper19 and also on Facebook. So that's facebook.com/CraigHarperPsychology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.